Hi everybody. So I'm in the old Quebec City, which is a pretty big contrast from the rest of Quebec City, which is much more of a modern, regular Western city. I was talking to my friend Frank about it. He said, you really should go. The restaurants suck, but you should go just to kind of like experience it. I'm like, okay, fine. He's like, it's kind of touristy. And I'm like, yep. And you know what? It's pretty fucking touristy here. Like, walking up here is like one of the few times I hear English spoke. I mean, I've only been here for 12 hours or so, but hanging out with Frank, it's sort of like, all of his friends are actual like people from Quebec, and it was kind of cool just to kind of see. All right, it's cool to see people who, actually live here and what their life is actually like. Here it's like, it's cute. It's like a small European city that happens to be in America. Like that's the feel of this place. But like I said, you also have like all the standard tourist stuff. You got like stores, got your little pastry shops, you got your chocolate places, you got your restaurants, you got your Oakley store over there apparently. So I don't know, this place is all right. I don't know that I understand what Frank was saying, that it's good to go there go here once. But I don't know if I'm gonna stick around here that much. I'm just gonna kind of like enjoy, just kind of look at the architecture and stuff. Stroll around. Then I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. I got up late, so it's like 11 a.m. I might go back down to the downtown area and get some food, because that's what Frank suggested I do. And I'm not sure. Sun sets at like 5 o'clock, 4 or 5, so it's not that much time. But we'll see what we can do. So I was walking around here and I got into a little square right over there. And I got this real weird sense of deja vu, like I'd been here before. And I'm not sure if I've just been in a square that looks like that, European style square. I may have actually been to this, I actually may have been to Quebec City before, and I just didn't even remember. I think I might have gone there one time with my family, because we visited like a bunch of cities like Ottawa. And I know that we visited Montreal. Maybe we did go to Quebec City, because like this looks very familiar. This looks very familiar. And I don't know, I haven't been to many cities that have like the style, so I may have actually been here before. Which is interesting. It's kind of cool when you get that sense of, deja vu. Like all of a sudden, time has, is moving in a weird crosswise direction that you're not used to it moving. But yeah, I may have actually been here before. But as you can see, tourism shit abounds, but it's charming. It's charming like many other sort of towns and cities of this sort of style. Yeah, I think my plan, I was thinking about maybe doing a hike, but there's a falls like 6 miles from here, but it might be a little too late. And to be honest, I've read that you had to pay $8 for the falls. So I'm like, I'm not paying $8 for something like that, you know? So I think I might get a small bite to eat here and then go check out a restaurant downtown. And then, I don't know, then I'll kind of hang out. Maybe I'll buy something, maybe I won't, whatever. Okay, I'm like almost 100% certain that I've actually been here before. Like, Jesus fuck. She hit that girl for. Okay. Yeah, I'm almost 100% certain that I've been here before. And it shows how much of an impact this part of Quebec City has had on me because I've completely forgot about it. But then again, I ended up in, I think it was on a tour bus trip where we had like, I don't know, an hour and a half to be here. So I couldn't really say that I even remember this place that much. But I remember like the general layout. I remember that there were these kind of streets. There's a little like monument thing here coming up that I remember. I remember that there are those stairs all the way back there in the distance. Like I said, I mean, the architecture is charming. The, the stores are stores for tourists, you know? Like, it is kind of a really nice thing if you like live around this, close enough to this area, if you ever want to kind of pretend you're in a small European town somewhere. But I'm going to try and find a more quiet street. And I have a little bit of a story time that I wanted to tell people. A little bit of a thing about, I guess, my philosophy on life and my philosophy on traveling, really. Yeah, so just to let you guys know, that was this sort of square that really tipped me off, because I remember very, very clearly being around this square. I remember that little exit over there, and then this like mineral, like stone rock shop. So that's what tipped me off to the fact that I've actually been here before. It would have been cool if it was like some sort of like, precognitive, thing where I would know exactly that I was going to be here. But no, I had been here before. So now that I'm in a little bit of a smaller street, I wanted to kind of give a little bit of my philosophy about some things. See, since I was a child, I've always liked a good story. And I believe that stories could ennoble us to fix what was broken in us, to become the persons that we wanted to be. Actually, that's not what I wanted to say. That's from Westworld. At one of the last speeches. Actually, it's a good explanation for why I became a therapist, but that's not here nor there. Also, the end of that speech is very true about being a therapist too. So, what I wanted to talk about, Jesus fucking. What I wanted to actually talk about was that since I was a child, I've always been interested in what was true and what was authentic. Like, ever since I can remember, I've always really cared about what it meant for something to be authentic. And, being in a place that's touristy, by most people's definitions is not authentic. It may be interesting. It might be kind of, like fun, kitschy. It might be like an interesting thing to go, but it's not authentic, And this is one of the things that kind of bugs me about sort of regular being a tourist, is you go to these places and they're so boiled down and they're so kind of commercialized or like kind of sold that they're not authentic anymore. And as long as I can remember, I've always looked for experiences and people and places that were authentic, that had that sense of real authenticity, whatever that meant. And so I guess it's just a difference of opinion. I used to maybe really hate things that were kind of fake. But, it got me thinking about this whole thing about like, well, what does it really mean to be authentic? You know, what is something that's actually authentic, to me and in general? And I think the truth about what's authentic in traveling and in life is that something that's authentic exists to its own ends, and it doesn't exist merely for the purposes of some outside body, right? So authentic Quebec City exists to its own ends, for its own self, for the benefit and enjoyment of the people inside it and maybe other people in the area. Authentic Quebec exists solely for that audience. And I guess ultimately authenticity really is some sort of creation where it really is made for its own kind of purposes. Not the purposes of somebody or something outside, but the purposes of whatever it needs to serve. So authenticity, I think, is a really important thing for me because it feels like it comes from a place that's more real. That's not going to be just sort of changed around arbitrarily for some sort of, again, outside purposes. So something that's touristy is not, to me, authentic because really its sole purpose is to cater to the tastes of people outside of its culture. Food in those areas isn't authentic. Like if you go to a show that's mostly for tourists, I don't think that's authentic. That kind of thing. And maybe that's a little harsh, but the truth is I think that that's actually what it means. That if you are the type of person who likes to go to those things, I'm going to try my best not to judge you, even though deep down inside I'm judging you a little bit. But I think there's something so much more alive about finding something that's real and genuine and authentic that comes from a place of like an actual, some sort of like living, breathing life that really is just like coming out of its own accord from that place. That could be a restaurant, that could be music, that could be a show, that could be anything. But something where it's created for really its own sake. And I think that's one of the things that why I actually really like going to being in nature, because most of the time when you're in nature, it's not really curated, right? It's one of the reasons why I like going to museums, because there's a curation there, but museums really are there to kind of document things that were created in, they weren't created to be in a museum. I guess arguably you could say art was created to be in a museum, but I don't know that I really buy that fully. I think oftentimes, especially art, it's its own sort of expression of a different thing. Those are why that's the things that I kind of really like. History, nature, real, like living culture. Knowing what people who actually are in the area like do and are interested in and care about and talk about and want to go to, and the types of things that they do for fun, that kind of thing. That's really what's more interesting to me. So I've obviously walked somewhat far away from the old city, and I'll go back in because I'm going to kind of check out some other stuff. But I guess I wanted to put this up just to get you guys to think a little bit, like, what is it that you search for in your life? What is it that you look for in your life? What is it that really kind of feels right and natural for you? Because for me, I think, like I said, that sort of ongoing search for authenticity is kind of a core part of, like, I guess, who I am in some ways. I think I'm lucky to be able to have this trip to do something like that. I'm lucky to have a job where authenticity is actually very, very important. And I try my best to do that as much as I can, as a therapist and stuff. But I would guess that more people agree with me on this than not, and that more people, you know, if you really thought about it, what you really want, that might be it. I mean, make up your own decision. I'm not you. I'm not from your culture or your background. But that was just what I wanted to say. Look at those Asian people over there with their Canada Goose jackets. They must be some fucking rich Asian people. Crazy rich Asian people who are Chinese. So I'm inside the chateau. This is very nice. Look at this. It's a winter wonderland in here. It's like a little mall thing, I guess. With like, sorry, just sniffling. With like Christmas stuff. I never know what's in these things. I guess it's like a little, they turn this into like a little mall store center. They have a nice bar here. Oh. So, I guess that's what's actually in the chateau. I don't know, let's see, what do they have here? Just have a bunch of different stalls and things. Oh, let's take a picture. I guess there's also I think there's maybe some sort of a hotel here. That's what those guys look like they're doing, getting ready to go to their rooms. It's kind of cool, I guess. You can spend a night at a chateau. And everything else is roped up. All right, yo, everybody. I'm over here at this restaurant, Poutineville, because they have vegetarian options for poutine. Which I always thought you kind of have to have this like meat gravy, but I guess there's some versions where you can have vegetarian. And I got the regular size one, which I think is actually supposed to be for 2 people. But it's pretty good. One of the things that, let's see what I'm eating here. One of the things that I'm going to be trying to do now is to like start packing in calories, because I realize I have to gain a lot of weight, and I'm going to try my best for that. Oh, that's really good. That's really good. I'm going to try my best for them to be healthy calories, but I'm on the road. I don't know if they can be that healthy. It was really good. This poutine's pretty good.